Hello, everyone, and welcome to this 5-minute bulletin briefing with myself, Nathan Harte, the CFO of Avino Silver and Gold Mines, Silver Wolf Exploration, and Coral Gold Resources. And here, my esteemed colleague is
Peter Latta, with President of Silver Wolf Exploration, as well as Vice President of Technical Services with Avino Silver and Gold Mines.
Yeah, so we're here today to talk about just kind of our industry, the demand for metals worldwide, and where we think the metals market is going to go in the future. So one of the things we wanted to talk about today is the increase in demand and maybe some of the lack of discoveries. I was wondering if, Peter, you wanted to comment on that.
Yeah, it's really interesting when you look at, I was reading a couple articles earlier talking about the reserve crisis that's happening, both in the, primarily in the gold sector, but I believe it applies to all commodities there. When you look at the amount of reserves have been decreasing year over year, certainly we know grades are getting lower, deposits are getting deeper, and it's just getting more difficult to find these sorts of precious and rare and industrial metals.
For sure, and I think worldwide we're seeing a decline, as you mentioned, in gold, silver, and even copper discoveries over the last 25 years. I think I read something somewhere that there's been only about 20 discoveries in the last couple of decades, over 2 million ounces of gold, which, I mean, it feels as if we're hitting peak gold production at this time.
Right, yeah, I mean, that's the supply side for sure, and what I find interesting is the demand side, both on, and I want to talk specifically about silver because it's something that I'm quite passionate about, and I know you are too, Nate.
Of course.
And silver has both the the industrial side to it and the financial instrument side to it. And I think that duality is really interesting because I see a huge demand increase for the industrial scale of silver with electric cars or photovoltaics or any types of green technology. If we really believe as a society we want to transition from a carbon-based society to something that's less emissions intensive, then I think we're going to need all sorts of different metals, and I think silver is going to be at the core of that.
For sure. I mean, the amount of applications that you're seeing for silver now, I mean, there's electrification vehicle-wise worldwide. We're seeing it in the medical field a lot, and I think the demand for that is only going to increase. And another thing we've talked about before is the increase in demand worldwide due to the electrification in third world countries. As the world gets more developed, especially in certain countries in Africa and Asia and South America, there's an increased demand worldwide for electronics
that's a very fair point, Nate, and it's something that I know a lot of prominent speakers in this industry touch on the fact that the world's poor are moving up a rung, and they're moving from, let's say, bicycles to scooters, from scooters to a Toyota Hilux and that sort of thing, and microwaves and fridges and all those things that require modern metals, and to live a lifestyle that has an increased standard of living, which we should want for everyone on the planet.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think worldwide it's something that's going to be more and more prevalent, and as third world countries move to second world countries and move all the way up, and so that eventually worldwide, we all want to be first world developed countries.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And the other thing, I guess more on the price side for metals. I mean, where do you think gold, silver, and even copper are going in the next few years?
Well, yeah, just before I touch on that, Nate, I wanted to touch on the other side of it. We talked about the industrial side of it, but I want to talk about the financial side of silver as well here, because I saw a meme today actually that it was 22% of all US dollars in existence were printed in 2020, which to me is absolutely an incredible stat. And what is that going to do for inflation? What is that going to do for the rare commodities that we can't just produce out of nothing? So, whether that be gold or silver or other commodities, I feel like the inflation has to catch up with us at some point in time.
For sure, and we're seeing with the current political instability, the instability in the world surrounding COVID especially. I mean, these are unprecedented times, and as you mentioned, I think, it's an astounding number, an increase of over 20% of money printed in the U.S., and that's just in 1 year. I think as the world gets more and more, I wouldn't say unstable, but it changes more and more with climate change, with involving political climates, both in Asia as well as at home here in Canada and the U.S. I think that we're going to see more and more inflation worldwide, and I think that's going to hit the U.S. dollar pretty strong, and in turn, I think the gold price, the silver price, they're going to increase moving forward.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Nate. Listen, thank you very much, guys. We really appreciate you joining in for this 5-minute segment. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you.